news station. KRON4 News at 8 begins with the breaking news.
The breaking news is unfolding in San Francisco, where police ended up shooting and killing a man who they believe hit two pedestrians and a bicyclist with his car.
KRON4's Will Trant following the story for us near Union Square, where a press conference is about to get underway. Will?
The scene is still here. The acting chief just arrived to the scene, so I will tell you the details before he arrives to the podium. You can clearly see they are sitting up at this very time. This all unfolded actually at around 6:30 last night when the San Francisco Police Department, they say a man driving a car hopped the curb, went onto the sidewalk, hit two people, a woman and a child, and then ultimately hit a bicyclist, left the scene. And then about 7 hours later at around 1:35 in the morning, they spot him near Union Square at Grant and Post. That's when they set up a perimeter, and then they approached him hoping to defuse the situation, but ultimately shots were fired. Acting Chief, if you're ready to speak, we'll like to take you live if you head to the podium right now. So here's the Acting Chief. I'll put my microphone here. Take it away.
Hi, Good morning, everyone. I'm Assistant Chief David Lazar, serving as the Acting Chief for the San Francisco Police Department. This is an active investigation. We are still working on the details of what actually occurred. But I'll start by saying that yesterday at approximately 6:30 in the evening, we got reports of a vehicle that was driving recklessly and erratically on the sidewalk northbound on Kearny between Post and Sutter. The suspect was driving quickly on the sidewalk, and it appeared to be chasing a person on a bicycle. While doing so, there were two young women that were coming out of Chipotle, one age 18, the other age 17, that were struck by the vehicle. Thankfully, they have minor injuries. The suspect continued to pursue a person on a bicycle, appeared to be like an e-bicycle. The victim on the bicycle was traveling northbound on Kearny and took a left turn to go westbound Sutter. Suspect, still on the sidewalk, pursued the victim and hit the back of the bicycle. The victim of that collision, which we are labeling an aggravated assault, jumped off and took off running, and we believe ran up to 233 Sutter. At this point, we haven't found that victim, and we definitely want that victim to come forward. We believe it's a Hispanic male in his 20s. The suspect then tried to take the electric bike and put it in his vehicle. He was unsuccessful in doing so. He did take some of the victim's property, put it in his vehicle, and then fled the scene. Officers within 2 minutes were on the scene. They conducted an investigation. They did a really good, thorough job trying to determine who committed this aggravated assault. They looked at video footage and other evidence, and the investigation began. And it took a few hours, but we were able to determine who we believe the suspect was. And so hours later, we figured where the suspect was located, which we believed he was employed as a security guard in front of the Dior store at Grant and Post. So after the time that we spent investigating, our officers developed a strategic plan in order to safely apprehend the suspect believed to be in that aggravated assault. At about 1:38 this morning, several officers approached the suspect, who was standing outside in front of the store. After an attempt to take the suspect into custody was unsuccessful, the officers were involved in an officer-involved shooting. The details of that officer-involved shooting are still being figured out. We're still looking at all the evidence. We don't have all the specifics on that. The officers immediately rendered aid and worked on life-saving measures. Unfortunately, the suspect is deceased, and the investigation is ongoing.
Assistant Chief, let me ask you that just so I heard it clearly. He was a security guard involved on all of this?
So we are still trying to sort it out. We haven't confirmed it. We believe that he was a security guard. And we don't know for sure if he was hired by Dior or not, but those details are still being worked out. And when we have our town hall, we'll be able to give more information on that.
And what did he do that caused officers to be fearful to open fire?
Well, that part is still under investigation. We're still determining what exactly evolved that resulted in us using force. But again, that information will be shared with the public when we have our town hall. We'll share our videos, we'll tell our story, and we'll give you all the facts.
Sir, talk to us about the cars or the vehicles that were towed not too long ago. We saw some of those windows. They look to be pretty shattered. Was that by gunfire? Can you paint that scene for us a little bit more? What is the damage to those vehicles at least?
Yeah, at this point, I don't have the facts as to how those windows were damaged. The vehicles are evidence related to the officer-involved shooting that happened here. They may be also related to the incident that occurred earlier yesterday afternoon, or 6:30 yesterday afternoon. We're still trying to sort that out. As you know, we're only hours after what has occurred.
Sir, how many officers were involved in the confrontation with him?
There are a few officers that are involved. We're still sorting out the exact number of officers who actually discharged their weapon. And again, we'll have all those facts for you when we have our town hall.
This is still an active investigation right now, so what we can release is ultimately what the acting chief has already said. So we can take maybe one or two more questions, but any particulars about the investigation itself is going to have to wait until our town hall, which is in 10 days at most.
Have you clarified with the suspect armed?
Was the suspect armed?
We're still sorting out exactly what the suspect had and what the suspect did, his actions. I will say, though, that upon my arrival this morning, there was a firearm on the ground at the scene that I believe belonged to the suspect. So there was a firearm. I did see it. It is evidence. And we'll explain when we have our town hall exactly how everything evolved. And I want to be very clear about something. Everything I'm telling you right now is all that I know at this point. Even our investigators are still working through evidence and looking at video, and I have not had the opportunity to really been briefed more than what I'm briefing you on.
Just to clarify those two cars, one was a marked SFPD patrol car. The other, was that the suspect's vehicle that was also towed?
Yeah, I'm not sure what car you're referring to, but yeah, there is a suspect vehicle that we have taken into custody and is evidence, and then unfortunately maybe our vehicle got damaged as well. The other point I want to make is, I'll just reemphasize this, we really want to speak to the victim who the suspect attempted to run over, the Hispanic male in his 20s. We'd love for him to come forward so that we can work with him and help him. We also, if there's any additional witnesses that we may not have spoken to, we'd ask that they call our tip line at 415-575-4444.
Was it witness information that let you know about that victim on the cycle, that his description that he ran off, all of that?
We do have witnesses that witnessed the incident. We have the victims that were hit by the car. We have video evidence, so it's all of that pieced it together. The officers did a tremendous job just putting all that together, figuring it out, and then working to make an arrest.
Have you ever heard a security guard? I mean, I'm shocked. I've done this for 30 years. A security guard, you think they're protecting people, not doing this. Maybe you're not shocked like I am.
Things happen from time to time, and you just never know who's involved in what or what people are thinking, and so we just have to react to it and keep the public safe.
You guys,
thank you
so
very
much.
much. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
When do you know when the scene will be cleared,
Happy
sir?
holidays. Thank you.
Do you know when the scene will be cleared?
The scene will be cleared shortly.
Okay, you just heard him. He said the scene will be cleared, and I only mention that because this is near Union Square, and Union Square has obviously lots of traffic throughout the day, but especially in the morning time. We understand, you just heard him say a few officers were involved in all of this. They were not injured. This all started actually at around 6:30 last night, and we got some clarification that there's two women, the two females, a woman and a young child. They were just unwitting victims in all of this. It appears that the suspect actually went after somebody on an e-bicycle and then hit the other two people. That person on the e-bicycle, they're still trying to track down to talk to, but it appears from witnesses and video and just their investigative work that they were able to track the man down. He was a security guard, according to the assistant chief at Dior, something happened, and they said that they will have a town hall meeting in 10 days from now. Something happened that caused the police officers to feel threatened, open fire on this suspect. They rendered aid on the suspect at the scene, took the suspect to the hospital, but that suspect ultimately died from his injuries. This scene here, they have towed away all of the cars. You see a lot of the police officers here. They say a short time this will be cleared, but of course we are just getting started with this story. We'll have more information as you come back to me throughout the morning. But you can clearly see at least traffic now is moving along there, along Post. Back to you.
Sounds like, Will, that the chief or assistant chief really put out the word saying they want to talk to that e-bicycle guy because we're wondering, was it road rage, was it targeted? Like, who is this guy, right?
A lot of questions.
That can solve a lot.
Absolutely, and he said he said everything I know is what I'm giving you right now. So he was nice enough just to literally walk from his car to the scene here and then go right to the podium. You saw me toss to him, go right to him and start the news conference. So he said everything that I'm answering is everything that I know at this particular time. In fact, he's over there talking to more officers, so I'm sure he's getting more information as we speak. But you might have heard me ask him live on television, are you shocked that this involves a security guard? And he says basically anything can happen. Basically, this is life and they have a job to do, because I was shocked when he said a security guard, especially a security guard who was accused of doing all of this and then went to work and stood in front of a store.
Totally. And then we were going to keep monitoring, check back with you, Will, about the scene being cleared. It's Union Square. It's the Friday before, the Christmas rush. And so it's going to be very busy down there, too.
Okay, so we'll get back out to Will when we have more to share. In the meantime, let's get over to the Weather Center. We've got John with a look at our forecast on this Friday. Good morning, John.
Good morning. It is very foggy in the South Bay this morning. While a lot of us are seeing improved conditions from where we have been, that is not so much the case around San Jose. Take a look at this view right now at what we have in downtown San Jose. It is completely fogged in, and I've had a lot of viewer reports of just that. Some very low visibility for those of our neighbors down in the South Bay and up the East Bay shoreline too. So that fog is really ebbed down into the southern end of the Bay Area. A lot of us on the peninsula are actually looking at improved conditions. We only have one dense fog advisory, and that stretches from Solano County out into the Central Valley. So do watch that low visibility in the South Bay. Anticipate some possible delays out of SJC too. We are looking at temperatures that are going to be comfortable enough come the afternoon. It is chilly this morning though, with a lot of us in the 40s right now. Oakland at 44 degrees, SF at 47, Santa Rosa and Petaluma each at 46. This afternoon, lots of sunshine for most of us. Still some stubborn fog in the South Bay into the inland East Bay later on though, in the 50s and 60s for your highs. Roadways this morning doing okay. Just mind that fog, especially further south. You don't have any issues on the Bay Bridge nor the Richmond Santa Fe. An earlier issue on the Golden Gate has since cleared with just a little bit of fog on the Bay side of the bridge itself. We'll be talking much more about everything to come in this weekend before the holiday. All still to come in the show.